start. So in our last class, we had discussed up till that sound propagates through a medium, right? When we hear between one another people or one person to another person, sound needs a medium to follow. And from there in grade 9, we'll study many things, that sound is a form of mechanical wave. So we are in grade 8. So we continue now about some more facets of sound. So sound needs a medium. Yeah, a medium to travel. And the sound is traveling as a disturbance, which is in the form of a wave. And sound waves are also known as pressure waves. Okay, sound needs a medium to travel. Now, this medium, we also studied that the medium can be of 3 different types. It can be a solid medium, it can be a liquid medium, or it can also be a gaseous medium. Okay. Now, the most common type of medium that we generally use, as I'm talking to you, you hear me immediately, is the gaseous medium we are more acclimatized with. But through solids also sound travels. And if you put your ear on the table and somebody scratches the table, you hear it very quickly, right? So the speed of sound, from here we'll say again, the speed of sound at which sound is traveling, the speed of sound also varies. These are all things, whatever I'm teaching you now, questions come from these things. Speed of sound also varies across the 3 mediums. Now, how does sound propagate? It's a disturbance from one particle to another particle. If you see these small molecular level particles, they are more closely packed in solids. So in solids, sound means if you tickle one particle, the other particle feels the tickle much more quicker as compared to liquid. So when we see the speed, it will be greatest out here. Okay. And this will be less than solids, obviously. And here it will be least. But look at the irony. Right now I am speaking to you, you are hearing me through the gaseous medium and there is no delay at all. That means if we would have spoken through solid medium, our sound propagation would have been much more faster. So this speed, usually in air, it is about 340 to 344 meters per second. Nobody will catch your throat if you write 340 or 344. Whereas in the case of iron is shown as Fe, it is around 5000 meters per second. Whereas in water, it is around 1500 meters per second. This is for water. Now see how quick sound travels. Okay. Now from here we can get a application based question, that why do you hear the approaching train much more faster when you actually put your ears on the rails, the railway track? Suppose you do not see the train at all, neither are you hearing whether the train is approaching. Means through the air you are still not hearing the train. So what do? You can lie down and you can put your ear on the railway track and then you can hear it. In fact, in earlier days when train robbery used to happen, much more before in British period and all, yeah, train robbery was very common. The goods trains will take all food and everything. Okay. All movies that come up, the belt of entire Bihar and all these places, you must have heard. Where does the story of Chandrasekhar Azad and all come from? Yeah, when you are deviating me, have you heard the name of this place? Kakori. Kakori is a place in UP. You should go down to history and search. Kakori train robbery was one of the biggest robberies done by freedom fighters. This was the robbery in which Ram Prasad Bismil, Ashfaqullah and all. And the British people, to solve it in those days, employed Scotland Yard. In Kakori, the British government trains were looted for all treasures, arms, ammunitions and everything. Yeah. Okay. So the way people used to, means they will get to know whether the train is coming or not. They put their ears on the rail and they can hear it. You and me cannot hear. So sound travels. So a question comes, why do you hear the approaching train much more ahead of time if you put your ears on the rail? Because at that time, you are hearing sound waves which are propagating through solids and the speed is much high, 5000 is compared to 340. The 341 is like one slow train coming to you and fast train. Obviously, you'll get the fast train, you'll get to see the fast train earlier. So this wave is traveling at 340, this wave is traveling at 5000. Have you understood this? Okay. So sound needs a medium to travel. Again, from here we deviate to another topic. It comes up, the topic of space and outer atmosphere. Okay, space and outer atmosphere, that is beyond the atmosphere. So in atmosphere, what do we have? In atmosphere, we have got air and we have got gases. That means we have our cute little what we known as particles. So sound can travel whenever there is atmosphere. But when you go to space, a space does not have any atmosphere. There is no atmosphere in space. Therefore, although we know that we cannot, we can't take off our face mask and oxygen and all. Suppose you would have been able to take out, then there is some gas, you're inhaling it. So in space, sound cannot travel because sound needs a medium. So when it comes to space, we will say sound cannot travel, cannot travel. So again, a question here will come up. Why do astronauts use radio sets? Okay, you'll get this question. Why do astronauts use radio sets in space? Because in outer space, there is no atmosphere. And if there is no atmosphere, sound does not get any medium to travel. But in order to communicate from one astronaut to other, the only help that you need now is a radio set through which you will be converting your sound waves into electromagnetic waves. But when you study light can travel in space. Yeah, light can travel because light is an electromagnetic wave. Yeah, light is an electromagnetic wave. Sound is a mechanical wave. A mechanical wave needs a medium. This you'll study in grade 9. Any mechanical, like water waves, they are mechanical waves. They need a medium to go. The sound waves are also mechanical waves. If there is no medium, sound waves cannot travel. So are we clear on this? That sound needs a medium to travel. And based on mediums also, there are different speeds of sound. Sound being fastest in the medium solid and slowest being in gaseous medium, that is air. इतना समझ में आया? ठीक है? यहाँ से थोड़ा सा आगे चलते हैं. And as we said, that we now need to understand humans versus sound. Some more interesting facets. Humans versus sound. So first is, number one, how do we make sound? Okay, how do we make sound? That is one question. Okay. Number two, also we will be interested to, how do we hear sound? How do we hear sound? These two questions are there in our mind right now. So the stage where we are, say suppose if there is one person and there is another person on the other side. Okay, this person is speaking something. All you need for sound to travel is medium. This part we have discussed. If there is medium, whatever he speaks can be listened by this person, and whatever the other person speaks can be listened by the other person. Now our first question is whether he or she, how is she making sound? So in order to make sound, you already know there's a key word called vibration. Sound can be only created by a vibration created by a vibrating body. Means inside us also there should be a vibrating body. So in human beings or even in animals and all, we have something which is known as our voice box. Okay, our voice box. And the voice box actually resides within something called, you have your pharynx, you have something called your pharynx and larynx. Inside your pharynx, you will have your voice cords like this. These are your voice cords. This is your voice cord right out here. Right now, as I'm having strepsils right now, what is affected in me? My voice cord is affected. There is a problem right now in my larynx and my pharynx. Okay, both. One through which you breathe and one through which you are speaking. This pharynx out here is the entire voice box. So how does sound? I mean, have you done this mischief? All of us might have done. When you inflate balloons and you don't tie the balloon, and you have an inflated balloon, you just hold the throat of the balloon and just try to slit the throat in this manner of the balloon and let the air escape. Some noise it will make, right? The same thing, you're making noise. You're inhaling air, and when the air is allowed to go out, your pulmonary system is forcing the air to get out of these two glands, voice cords. They sometimes say, our parents say, you talk so much, you talk so loud, your one voice cord should be snipped off. So this like, so what happens when they become very stretched? You are speaking on high pitch, you are yelling, you are shouting. Every time you shout, you will feel you have not spoken that much, but you feel a lot of stress on your throat. You after you shout, you really feel that 2 or 3 minutes you should rest. That's because you're forcing air to come out of it. And at that time, your voice cords are in stretch mode. Sometimes during that shouting, if you have shouted too much in some school fest and other things, then you see a lot. Yeah, the next day you'll see loss of voice. The loss of voice has happened because there's some permanent problem that has happened to your, not permanent, I'll say a temporary problem that has happened to your voice cords. So how do we speak, beta? In order to speak, we need to create sound. To create sound, we need to create vibration. And the vibration is all on the vocal cords. These are your vocal cords. These are known as my vocal cords. And the more you relax them, the more will be the comfort with which you are speaking. Some people have the habit of general speaking, they speak in a higher tone. You can take their telephone calls by putting the mobile a little bit away from your face, and still you can hear them loud. So some people speak by default, they speak loudly. So always speak softly. As a result, you are not creating too much of stress on your vocal cords. Now another question comes: how do we make high pitched noise or sound? When we make high pitched noise, our vocal cords are stretched. Exactly that balloon. Look at that balloon. If you want the balloon to make more high pitched noise, what do you stretch it more? And if you want the noise to come out in a low pitch or a much lower frequency, then you allow it to be relaxed position. So have you understood this part? Okay, this is how do we. So if somebody says, how do human beings make sound? Human beings make sound by vibration created on their vocal cords through the air that is forced out of the lungs. The lungs force the air out through this vocal cords. If the air is forced out in which the vocal cords are in stretch manner, we make high pitch voice notes or voice notes. And if they're in relaxed mode, we are making low pitch notes. Understood? So a little bit of biology in this chapter. Okay, we had another question. We have answered. Now we have answered this. How do we make sound? We have already answered. Now the next is, how do we hear sound? Okay. Now for hearing sound, our hearing organ, one of our sensory organ is the ear. I think one of the most precious organ of two organs in your body, which are very precious, are one is your ear and the other being your eye. Be very, very careful with these two. And once upon a time, I had asked a doctor, like, how to take care of your ears. He just told me one thing: don't touch your ears. They have a habit of putting everything inside, right? If there is any trouble, see the doctor. Okay. So this chapter, we are speaking about human beings. So we'll be talking about the human ear, obviously. So the human ear comprises of three parts. Okay, we have something known as the outer ear, very easy, and then we have the middle ear, okay, and then we have the inner ear. Every part plays its own role. Outer ear means a zone comprising of 2-3 sub-organs. The middle one will comprise of 2-3 sub-organs. So let's see first our outer ear. I'm not going to be that good in my drawing. So this is typically the pinna of the ear, which in our younger days used to be pulled by elders. So you have got the pinna, and then you have something which is known as the ear canal. Okay, so this is the ear canal. So the ear canal is actually going to make a root canal, na? C-A-N-A-L, I think. Yes, it should be C-A-N-A-L. The ear canal. So the pinna. Okay, do you know your balancing of your body is also responsible because of pinna? Your entire balancing, that vertigo and other things, when you're here study in other classes, you balance your body through these two only. Yeah, if there's a nerve out here. If this doesn't function, you'll not be able to stand also. Human body is very, very, very sophisticated. So the pinna is actually the outermost part of the ear which is exposed. The sound waves will actually come to the pinna, travel through the ear canal, okay, and they first come and hit what is known as my outer eardrum. This is my outer eardrum. This is all about the outer ear portion. What you do when you use that Johnson's buds or something, you are actually pushing it up till here, and sometimes here also there will be an annular soft tissue through which the Johnson bud can actually go inside. Initially you will feel it is not going, but if you take a bath and come, sometimes it is much more lubricated because you just have soap and everything. So you actually clean up till this portion. This is the portion where oil and dirt mix together. So it makes earwax, or it will make earwax is very dangerous. How, too much buildup of earwax when can lead to permanent, what you call, not permanent, complete audibility loss. Yeah, I have experienced this because I have, when I started my job career in 99, I was posted in Calcutta at the time. And then slowly what happened, we used to have PCOs, the public calling booths, telephone calls. So whenever the phone call, you can hear the other person has picked up the phone. Slowly, I used to hear less, 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 less. So less that once upon a time, if somebody's picked up the phone, I could not even hear. I just see the meter starting means the phone has been picked up. So it started aggravating, and I went to the doctor. And as usual, the doctor said, just don't move. Two sharp needle-like things, he said. You just don't move and don't see and don't get afraid. So they will wear their, what you call, convex mirror, focus the light through it. And he just entered that needle. He just said, don't move or you will injure. And he pulled up not less than something like have you seen the cotton portion of a Johnson's bud? Yeah. Like two buds joined together portion, the cotton portion, and he pulled it out from my ear. Obviously, it was not smelling that good. And the moment he pulled it out, I felt as if I'm hearing beyond the state of West Bengal. Okay. Air started going in. So that is called wax deposit. How it happened, I also don't know. People will say you must not be hygienic or you have not been clean or whatever it is. So we feel that we are hearing. At frequent times, you should also get your ears periodically. Ears, teeth, and eyes. Don't go to a doctor because you have a problem. These just need periodic maintenance. Not nose that much, but eye, ears, and your. But once the ear gets a problem, the next will be your throat. ENT, they're all connected. Okay, so this is our outer ear portion, right? So the sound wave comes, and then what it does, its job will be to come, and this is known as the diaphragm, the outer ear drum or the diaphragm, and it will just slowly start vibrating. Yeah. So many diaphragms. So many diaphragms. So it will just start vibrating. If you have opened up a old what do you call the earphones, if you have opened up earphones, you'll see small sellotape like diaphragms which give you that lovely music. So God has also created those too. That's why don't use pens and keys inside your ears, you might scratch it. After this starts the middle ear. Okay, now the middle ear is actually a combination of three bones. The first one is known as the hammer. The second one is known as the anvil. And the third one is known as the stirrup. STIRRUP. I'll explain you all. There's very easy mechanism. Hammer, you know what's a hammer. Do you know what is an anvil? The thing on which a cobbler keeps the shoe and he mends it. Yeah, it will be always in a perpendicular mode. Yeah, anvil is that cast iron block which is there with the cobbler. There he will put your shoe and try to mend it. Hammering is always done on anvil. Okay, so these are three small bones, three tiny bones, right? And stirrup, stirrup is any mechanism, like if you lie down and if you are able to put your legs up. Have you seen those Sadhu Maharaj? They sit with one arm like this, resting, a fork like thing. Alak Niranjan, like they will sit now with their kamandalu, something like this. See? Something like this. Like if you have a foot fracture or something, the doctor will always make your leg on that. Yeah. Even on hospital beds also, there are positions where stirrups can be placed so that the legs can be put up. Like say some leg surgery or something has to happen. So that's called a stirrup. So once the vibration goes and reaches your outer eardrum, now this is very micro mechanism. The outer eardrum vibrates. That vibration causes the hammer to strike on the anvil. The hammer is a small bone which will be striking on the anvil. And as a result, from the anvil, it will send vibration to the stirrup. These three are typically in this manner. The hammer will be a very small bone of this order. It will come and strike on the anvil, and the anvil will take it to the stirrup. Some mechanism like this. Okay. So the hammer will be hitting on the anvil to make it more better, I think the drawing should be, the hammer will be like this. This is there, and this is the diaphragm or the drum. This portion is your outer ear. Okay, so the hammer will now strike. This is the middle ear. The hammer will strike the anvil. This is my hammer. Three small bones. This is my anvil, and this is the stirrup. Understood? Are we fine till here? Ear has got three zones: outer ear, middle ear, inner ear. Outer ear has got pinna. पढ़ाई लिखाई नहीं करते हो. That one. Then the canal, and then the eardrum, which is also known as the diaphragm. When the sound waves come through here, they will enter through this canal, which is very easy to understand. That is the routing path, and then it goes and starts vibrating. That particular eardrum vibrates. That eardrum vibration causes, it's like it will amplify it. Amplify in mechanism, something sometimes are there. Like if you do a small movement here, you will see a larger movement on the other side. So this is the amplification zone. Amplification means we can do it by many. These are possible even in your, what do you call, cars. You turn your steering this much, and you see the car taking big turn. So these can be managed. Okay, so out here, whatever disturbance is coming, it gets amplified in this zone, so that even the feeble disturbance can also be picked up. The hammer starts striking on the anvil. The anvil starts putting its vibration to the stirrup. So the vibration has gone here, and the vibration has been sufficiently amplified. Understood? Then comes our inner ear. Inner ear again starts with another membrane. Okay, another membrane, and from this membrane, it goes into a zone which is known as the cochlea. The cochlea has got fluids inside it, and these fluids also carry the nerve cells. Nerve cells, which goes to the auditory section of the brain. So what happens? My first vibration will come here. This vibration is amplified. Now the vibration is here at zone 2. And at zone 2, this is my zone 3. The vibration comes in. The cochlea has got a lot of fluid. And then it is like a Imarti type jalebi. Okay, so it's entirely filled with fluid. And these fluids are carrying what? These fluids are carrying the nerve cells inside them, which take it to the auditory section of the brain. Brain is like your CPU. It will have photosections, signals coming, auditory coming. Sometimes I am looking at her, I'm hearing her. So the auditory has come as well as the photo has come. Then the mixing will come so that there is no delay. Like sometimes if you see how nice these mechanisms are. If you try a Amazon Fire Stick, sometimes you'll find that you can delay the voice and the audio. Suppose you're finding audio and video are not matching with each other. So try that in Amazon Fire Stick. There's a setting in which they will say that you can adjust it, and they'll make a ball fall on the screen. You should hear the sound at that time. Tongue, if you're hearing it before, you can do minus. You're doing it. So that adjustment we can do so that when the ball falls, the tongue noise is heard by you. So that there is no difference between, it happens now sometimes in too much of HD, if you see, then you'll see voice is going in one side and the person is speaking. Even when I edit my videos, I can do that. If you just stretch the voice signal on this side and the whatever I'm speaking, the mouth is moving ahead of the voice being created. So the brain is even fixing that. So is this part clear? So what are the three major sections of your ear? The three major sections of my ear are outer ear. Outer ear comprises of pinna, canal, and the eardrum. Goes to the middle ear, which is a composition of three bones acting as the amplification zone: the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. So the diaphragm or my ear drum is sending the vibration to the hammer. The hammer vibrates, strikes on the anvil, and sends the vibration to the stirrup. Stirrup starts moving, and that movement is then passed on to the inner stretch membrane, inner ear, which starts with the membrane, and then is a cochlea is a section which is completely filled up with liquid, which houses all our nerves. So let's go back to our previous slide. I think now we very well know how do we make sound and how do we hear sound. Okay, but when you make sound and hear sound, there are some more interesting things. So we say that if you are a human being, Then you do have something which is known as your audibility range. Okay, not how far, what all sounds you can hear. This is very interesting. You can hear a sound which has a frequency from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, right? As a human being, I can hear only a sound. Okay, if you are a baby, you can hear a little bit on this side, a little bit on this side. That's why when absolute means just born babies come to house, then people will switch off calling bell. Even if you sit on the bed, they can wake up. You make the slightest noise, the baby will be able to hear it. The baby hears it. And one of the nice examples in my own life, when my daughter was very small, just about to talk and understands like the taste of ice cream and all. So we used to stay in Hyderabad, so not here. So we used to have colony lines. So every evening, a quality ice cream cart used to come, and he used to say ice cream and make one ding 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 noise. So it's guaranteed. My father was alive at that time, so he will take her down, and grandfather and granddaughter will go and buy one ice cream. So by 6:30, usually that fellow comes to our colony. So 6:30, 35. And my daughter could not say ice cream at that time. She should say asakam, asakam, like that. Yeah. So one day she started saying asakam. So we know it's around 6:30. By this time he should come, but he has not yet come. But she said asakam. That means you won't believe, exactly after 5-10 minutes, we could hear his noise as he started entering our colony. Their audibility range is faster than us. They can hear it. Means he was in the next colony. Might be he's yelling and shouting, and the way they say ice cream, ice cream. She has heard. We did not hear. Which also confirms that children have audibility range more. Okay, so when you hear between this is known as the sonic zone. The sonic zone. Okay, and when you make a sound which is beyond this is known as the infrasonic. Okay, so we have rhinos. Rhinos actually, yeah, they communicate in infrasonic sound. Okay, and beyond this we call as our ultrasonic zone. Yeah, bats, rodents. So you have bats. Even you have got which one? Dogs and cats are in this sonic zone itself. Dogs can also take movements, like little bit of low noise also. Ultrasonic, they can pick up, but not like bats and rodents. So now what is the use of this? So if you see these big what do you call storage zones and warehouses, like say the Amazon warehouse near the airport and all, okay, they have so many things, so many edible things and other things. So rodent control has to be there. So you can't use so much of pesticides and all, because there are pesticides has got a danger of getting mixed up. So you have ultrasonic repellers machine. So you will see even in factories we use that. We will be kept, some small machines will be kept. It doesn't cause you any trouble. But for that particular rodent, it is like it's making a noise. Continuously it's making a noise. Even we have got small ultrasonic repellents also, which can be just put on the plug, a light will glow. You are unable to hear anything, but mosquitoes cannot bear that noise. They will just leave the room.
The size of the city.
Right, but you can also use, like if you the remote control. The remote control works on infrared rays. So, okay, so even those the remote control, whether the remote control is working or not, you can always take a remote control, switch on your camera. You with your eyes you can see. Switch on your mobile camera and put it on the remote and press it. You can see the remote bulb glowing. So you can have some sensors, infrasonic sensors, infrared sensors. So whether the remote is glowing or not, just put it on that, it will make a noise. Start making a noise. So ultrasound is something that we cannot hear. Now, no, we cannot hear infrasonic. Yeah, anything above this. Okay. Now anything which travels with the speed of sound, is just for your knowledge. Anything that travels with the speed of sound, okay, that is known as the sonic speed. The sonic speed of sound, that's called Mach 1. Okay, Mach 1. So if your speed of sound double the speed of sound, like say, suppose like a BrahMos missile, it is like Mach 2, Mach 3, three times the speed of sound it will go. You know, all this, these, if you have seen Top Gun like movies, there you'll see the G force is so much, and Mach 3, Mach 4, Mach 8. That means they are going at sound which are known as the ultrasonic speed. That we call it was supersonic. So if you're traveling less than the speed of sound, then you are subsonic. If you're traveling at the speed of sound, you're a sonic level. If you're traveling more than the speed of sound, then it's called a supersonic, and that is what creates a jet blast. It is unbearable. Okay, ultrasonic is related to frequency. Supersonic and all is related to speed of sound. So we travel, for example, these Indigos and all these Airbus, they travel at around 700 to 720 kilometers, okay, per hour. So that is subsonic, less than the speed of sound. Again, if you have those Rafales and other fighter jet aircrafts, they were traveling at supersonic, more than the speed of sound. So next time when you get a chance, as I always say everyone, if you get a chance to visit Pune Airport, the civil airport and the Air Force airport are all together. Nowadays, they give a bus, but at last you'll walk to the plane. Earlier, you walk. The Pune is Sukhoi's base. So you will see, if you are lucky, not lucky, you will see. Every 2 minutes, you'll see Sukhoi's landing and you'll see the jet blast coming out. Your hairs will stand up. And the noise it makes, unbearable. Means if you are outside in the tarmac and you're boarding up, you will see Pune has got 2 runways crossing. I mean, the jets will keep on, Sukhois will keep on taking up and coming down. It's means to close here. That's called the jet blast. Okay. When you speak in terms of frequency, we call it ultrasonic, infrasonic, sonic. When you speak in terms of speed of sound, just for your knowledge, it's supersonic. So the aircrafts that we fly are subsonics. Then comes sonic, then supersonic. Supersonic means more than the speed of sound. Okay. So this part also we have done. Now, after this comes a little bit of comparative study. So we have sound, and sound needs what? A medium to travel. And in higher classes, you will study that sound is a form of a wave, which is known as a mechanical wave. Any wave which needs a medium is known as a mechanical wave. And like sound, he has got another one partner for light. And light does not need any medium. A light is a electromagnetic wave. Okay, electromagnetic wave. Now there are some natural phenomena like thunder and lightning, where both of these are present. Rahu and Ketu both are present. Okay, so you will have a thunder and you will also have a lightning. Okay, so you will hear the light, you'll see the lightning first. Even in Diwali, when people are blasting rockets, you don't go there. You be far off from the rocket. You be far off from the rocket. You'll always see the rocket first making that explosion, then tap, the noise coming out. Because the speed of light, if you see, light speed is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, and this speed is around 344 meter per second. So sawal hi nahi hai. We are always going to see the light first. So again a question might come that if you have a rainy night or a stormy night, why do you see the flash of the lightning before the thunderstorm is heard? That's because light travels faster than sound. Okay? So this is one more. You get a lot of these questions, and then we come to our pendulum and other parts, which we have already done. So in pendulum and other parts, once again, loudness is related to amplitude, shrillness and pitch is related to frequency, quality of sound, though not there at your level. Yeah, timbre, quality of sound is related to something which is called timbre. What is quality? By which you can differentiate two different sounds. The same music being played by a guitar and a violin. How do you say that the violin is being played? No, this is a guitar being played. How do you differentiate two different sounds? That's based on quality. Then the other part now comes up is obviously the difference between something called noise and melody. Okay, melody. Melody is anything which is soothing to your ears, which you love to hear. Noise is something which is unpleasant, anything above 80 decibels. Bell after Alexander Graham Bell. Deci, as I told you, 1/10. So decibel itself is a big unit. So anything above 80 decibels is considered to be very, very, very bad to your ears. Nowadays, like iWatch and everything, if you are in too much of a sound zone, the Apple Watch tells you that you are in a too much sound zone. Prolonged staying is bad. Typically, cities getting populated, people like in Bombay, if you see the Bombay airport, you've got a lot of people living in and around the airport, a lot of slums and other things. But the airport is a place where you'll have all these jet blasts, sonic blasts, and all. So people have this problem. Okay, deafness and all. So from these two things, we get to know something. A melody is something which will give you a very smooth curve. A noise is something which will have spikes in this manner. Okay, there will be no pattern. From this, it brings up something called noise pollution. Now, what is noise pollution? Pollution means degradation of the quality of your living in terms of your environment, your life, your health by acts caused by you or forced upon you is pollution. Any sort of degradation in the quality of your lifestyle related to either the environment or to your habits or to your health, which pose significant hazard to you. Now, when the hazard is caused by noise, we call it noise pollution, right? We're going to call it noise pollution, and which y'all read a lot about it, but again, there are educated idiots. So one of the educated idiots is today's class, headphones. Headphones are the richest and the biggest source of bacteria. Your ear always needs to breathe. Once you plug those, they are good things, but they are not to be used prolonged for two reasons. One is there are in your eardrum has got very tender hairs on this. These are mandatory for you to hear. Prolonged using of ear pods, which nowadays people use them, you plug it inside and then you put noise cancellation and all. So no air goes inside. Two things will happen. First is the bacteria infestation that takes place. Any bacteria comes in means it will create infection. And to kill bacterial infection, the only treatment is antibiotics, which are not good for you, number one. Second is damaging these tender hairs. If these hairs get damaged, you can also have permanent audibility being lost. More bad, from the worst are those earpods. Yes, doesn't mean that you should not hear, you can, but keeping it on throughout and working as a fashion on it, not at all. Second comes the muffler ones. The muffler ones are also going to cover your ears completely, which also do not allow any sort of, want to play a video game, want to watch movies or anything, keep speakers on. That's the best way to enjoy music. I have all good quality headphones, but the pleasure I get by listening to music through a speaker, it can never be matched by earphones. Then like people going to gym and all, at that time your body is working so hard, extra energy, plus you have locked up your hearing. The third and the worst part is, if this is your structure, your brain has got three parts: the cerebellum, and the medulla oblongata. Okay, once you put your earpods out here, your entire zone is in a Bluetooth zone, which is more bad. Any sort of radiation is bad, and these are much more stronger radiations. Wired is any day better. Right now you're in my house, there are two routers out here. They are also giving a little bit of radiation. You cannot get away nowadays. So you see, there are no butterflies to be seen now, no sparrows to be seen. Why? I must have seen some James Bond movie where they show some jewel or something kept and nobody can go and steal it, because not only about volts, there are some rays also which are there, and if your body comes in contact with that ray, immediately the burglar alarm will go. Have you seen those? They show in movies. The sparrow sees your city like that now. There is a network of rays in and around you. Sparrows are not to be seen. Do you notice that? In our days, sparrows used to be common. Mom and like they never used to keep dal and all these things, rice grains outside. Sparrows used to come and eat. Now you are getting pigeon, which is the biggest disease bringer, right? And this entire zone is coming under the attack of Bluetooth, which is not good. And there will be Many people go on continuous long chat using headphones. Headphones means unwired. Unwired means you will start having pain. At night, just lie down on your mother's lap and ask your mom to slowly massage this zone. You will feel very comfortable. If you are feeling comfortable by massaging these zones, that means you are slowly becoming a victim of radiation, which we don't feel. We feel that these are fine, to some extent good. People are cycling wearing headphones as fashion. Then second is, wearing headphones is also a danger because you are partially hearing something. You're not connected to the world, and with that you are crossing roads. So what are the ways to reduce noise pollution? And Pebble City is the best example of noise pollution. When I think whenever somebody buys a flat here, they ask three questions. Do you have a drill machine? You promise you will switch on every third day? Yes. Then you should have a pet dog out here. We should bark. And then only.
So in our apartment, there used to be people above us. They're drilling every day. So
the entire day drilling will go on. You can't do that. If you go to Germany and all, there you cannot even think of like making noise, even in your house. You're simply not allowed. No, you cannot break the peace of place. Peace is something good. So after some time, when my class ends and I go back to my tower, I will hear all those Messis and the Ronaldos right behind Titanium Garden shouting and yelling. Common sense is lost. Sometimes on Sundays at 6 o'clock, sometimes 5:30, people are yelling outside. Don't you think somebody's sleeping out there? That's also noise pollution. That's also noise pollution. We have lost empathy. Like, how do we go to be at the other side? Okay, so ultrasounds are also used in medical diagnosis. Ultrasounds can be also used to diagnose things like tumors, diagnose stones, and also diagnose, what is known as the well-being of a fetus which is developing in the womb. What is not allowed in ultrasound is to detect the gender of the fetus. That is a crime in India. You go to any place, any diagnostic center, it will be written detecting the gender or the sex of the fetus is a punishable offense under Indian law. Whereas if you go to America and all, they disclose it, that whether it's a boy or a girl, they'll disclose. But in America, this is called amniocentesis. Amniocentesis is a punishable offense. If no doctor or anyone is allowed to disclose the gender of the unborn fetus, because a lot of female feticide used to take place, and that kills the gender ratio. In fact, in many states now, for the boys to girl ratio is very pathetic. Like to 880 boys, you have got double-digit girls only. The gender ratio is affected. So that's it. Noise. I don't think we have anything that we have left out here. We have read much more than what is required. Hearing impairment. So now we also have these hearing aids that people put. Okay, so you should not shout and speak too much in front of those people. So ears, be very careful with your ears. Ways to control noise pollution. Again, our Sarvesh, he will cry at home. Nana, I want crackers. All bombs I want. And all these. So those are also noise pollution. Anything that is like that is not more than 80 dB. Traffic is noise pollution. Then people honking unnecessarily is a noise pollution. Concerts also are noise pollution. We are the best examples. Now the winters have come, right? After a few days from now, morning 4 o'clock, there will be some winter marathon. Some music will go on. Yeah, the whole puja time goes on. Yeah, so much of noise. So we are best. That's all noise pollution. You may say devotion or whatever, you may say, sir, this our sir is very anti-religious, whatever. God never said make noise in front of me and I will come and sit on your lap. I don't think so. Peace is something. Otherwise, there should have been a lot of music even in Kailash Parvat. It's not there. People go for tranquility and peace. So that's it in a nutshell. I don't think we have left out anything. We have covered more than what you. So the Lakshmi Singh, old Lakshmi Singh, I will once again upload once on our class forum, where you can because this is not there in your new one or your school book. So we continue with we have still have time now. We'll continue with our हाँ मैथ्स में थोड़ा मैथ्स का ऐसे ज्ञान पार्ट बात करेंगे अभी इसको रोक के राइट सो आई एम स्टॉपिंग दिस रिकॉर्डिंग